Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and you join me in the AMX 50. Yes, we are finally over the M4. So a new tank for me to play around with, very similar to the previous one. Now, the AMX 50 was the second prototype after, of course, the AMX M4, and this was an upgunned variant of the vehicle. Same armor, same engine, same everything, just the gun was increased to a 100mm autoloader. And it was received okay, but it was very problematic. The biggest problem was the lack of an engine capable of giving this the power it needed. Now, this tank could have been quite good, all in all, had it had the power it required. The issue was the French didn't have a power plant available at the time that was capable of giving the 1,200 horsepower this vehicle needed for its power to weight ratio to work. Sorry, I'm needing some liquid today. It's about 40 degrees here and our air conditioning's not working, so I'm very hot. The engine they sort of used was the Maybach HL295, captured at the end of the war, and it was redesigned. They also had the Sierra diesel as well, both capable of about 1,000 horsepower, but they just didn't have that extra bit of kick needed to give the tank its desired speed. It also came in weighing a little bit too much as well. So it was pretty much a failure. The AMX 5100 was seen as redundant with the M47 pattern. It was seen as superior to the British Conqueror at the time and the M103, but it wasn't great. That's the problem. It was good in many types, but it wasn't great. It did take part in the 1950 Bastille Day Parade, however, so it has actually driven around a bit. The project did go on to inspire the Swedish-designed Kranwagen heavy tank project as well. The fate of the AMX 50 was basically it turned into the Sommerset, which was a 120mm variant. Sort of a very big version. Now, this was originally designed to be a heavy tank, and well, it's more of a medium tank really, but the way it was designed was inspired a bit by the Panthers or Tigers, Tiger 2 mainly, captured at the end of the war. Now, right here we get very lucky. M56 there fires a shot into us, we fire at the same time. Now, we'll just pause it there for a moment. And quickly hop to the other view. Now you'll see we got penetrated. I'm not sure we're going to see actually because of the foliage there on the tank. But we got penetrated through this section here. Now the good thing is the armor did a very good job. There you go. You can just see the whole. Actually, that's a light fixture, sorry. So we got penetrated through the front plate, which is not too bad for us, because that thick frontal armour basically absorbed much of the impact of the shot. Now, with that, we've lost our machine gunner. Luckily, the ammo was safe. I believe it's a wet system for this one to keep it relatively safe, so the ammo racking's not too much of a problem with this tank. You do have less of an ammo rack chance. But the armour does work very well on this tank, and that's a big thing for this one. Now, a lot of people prefer to use the Lorraine 50T over the AMX because of the better reverse speed and the 100mm gun. Now, this has the same gun as the Lorraine, but it does lack the speed. But the big difference with this vehicle is it has the armour. Now, the armour is 80mm, around about 80mm, which gives it very good frontal armour because of the sloping and curving. Now, there's an M26 up there that's just hiding over the ridgeline. IS-6 here is just capping. So we're just being a bit cautious here because we don't want to expose too much of the tank. Now, you can take the odd hit with this tank, which is quite good. You can actually take... You can afford to take some hits. You will, of course, get penetrated, but you're not always going to die in this vehicle because they do lose a lot of their post-penetration effect because of that armour. Now, we're being nice and cowardly here, but just holding back a little bit. Just seeing what's going on before we head into B. As I say, the biggest drawback of this vehicle is the reverse speed. It is really bad in reverse. You've got 3 reverse gears, but it just does not have the power to get much speed up. So, working ridgelines can be a little bit tricky. Now we're keeping an eye out for everything, and in a moment there is going to be there's an RU-251 that's managed to flank those guys and is causing an absolute riot back there. Herpack's amazing play there. So yeah, all in all, very good play. In all honesty, the best way to play this tank is to play it mid to long range. Use it more as a sniper. You've got the gun for sniping, you've also got the penetration as well. The pen of this vehicle is really good. You've got pretty much 200mm at a kilometre. So you're able to penetrate most vehicles without a problem from the side. Front armour can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but you can still cause a lot of damage. Up close, yeah, you're going to have some good times. Sometimes the solid shot does play around a little bit, and you do get some odd hits. They don't always give a kill. Some of that's down to solid shot being wonky. Some of that's down to, of course, me playing in Australia, which you do get some latency issues, things like that. The depression of the turret's not great. You've got 8 degrees, which means you can't really work ridgelines very well. So again, that does affect the vehicle. But one of the good things is it's quite a low profile tank, so in that respect it works quite well. Now we're just going to sit up here for a moment, take a breather. So as I said, the AMX was a bit of a failure, but it did go on to make the AMX Subisei, I think it was, which is the 120mm gunned big heavy tank that we get in the game. And that thing is looking pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to having a play with that one. In game, as I've said, it's a pretty good tank to play with. There's a charioteer down there that I've not spotted just yet. I think I might have just spotted it now-ish, and I'm just trying to get to position. And I'm just moving around. And this is where that depression comes into play. Now that charioteer there has got an amazing shot on me if he spots me. But he's not looking my way, obviously. So I've gotten out of this somehow. I've survived this. This mistake, because I just don't have the gun depression to get down on target. Finally get position, and kabloom, through the front of the vehicle, good shrapneling there, and we take out the charioteer without too much problem. Now I'm going to start moving, because I'm not liking that position too much. I feel a little bit exposed from the left and from the right. In my opinion, if you're looking at working on your French tank line, if you're working up to tier 5, I think, yeah, I'm trying to work out my tiers. The best lineups to use are, of course, the Jumbo, the Super Sherman, and if you've got the Premium Sherman sort of version, those are the best lineups to use to unlock these vehicles. I found that's the best way to go around it. But once you unlock these vehicles, I believe the AMX M4 and the AMX 50 are the best tanks to use in your lineup. Simply because they, well, they've got really good protection, but they've got a good gun on them as well. The Lorraine 40T has got the gun, but it does lack that protection. It does have speed on its side, though. Of course, the AMX 13s are, they're all worth using. They're always handy to have a play around with. They're fun little light tanks. Now, there's a Conqueror Mark II there. So we aim for the side, we take a shot through the side, and we take out the gunner and the loader, reload, and take out the rest of the crew. So, side of the Conqueror there, pretty easy kill, worked out quite well. Now, of course, I've got to be in the mindset of a possible revenge kill, so just keeping an eye out. I'm also keeping an eye over A and B here, so a good little spot for me to be in. But I am a little bit exposed, so it's really just got to keep the eyes open. But, as I said, with the AMX 50, you do have that frontal armour to give you that bit of a save if you do get engaged, so you can afford to expose yourself a little bit. The best way I can describe this tank is it's a bit like a Panther. Now, you've got relatively good front armour, you're going to survive the odd hit, but you can't rely on your armour all the time. You are still going to have problems now and then. I think there's actually a guy to my right hand side, but he's been taken out. Yep, the IS-6 and everyone has it in control. So yeah, this tank, it works quite well in that respect. It's just, you know, it's just got enough armour and protection to keep you safe, and also the crew are spread out enough to sort of allow you to survive the odd hit as well. The angling of the armour's quite nice too. The turret's not too bad, but you can't rely on it hull down. So it's a bit like a sort of Panther in that regard. Another charioteer here. He spots me, shoots me. Now we'll just pause here for the moment. Now he shoots me and goes for the turret, I think, yep. But his biggest mistake is he's gone for this chin area here, which has completely lowered his shot penetration. So as you see, my vertical turret driver is gone. My loader's gone, but that's it. It's not really caused much damage post-penetration. It has damaged the breach a little bit, but not enough to render it useless. My shot's gone in and taken out his gunner and his engine. But this area here is quite good as well, because people tend to shoot for this lower part of the turret thinking that's the best spot to shoot, and they will penetrate. But because it's going through two sets of armour, it loses a lot of its punch. So if I did not have that little chin strap around the tank, it probably would have killed me. But with that on, I'm still available to go. So he's damaged and reloaded. Take the shot, take him out, easy as. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the AMX 50. As I said, it's a very good little tank. Well worth using in games. It works really, really well. You have that armour for protection. You can take a few hits and still survive. Of course, you are going to have the odd shot that completely destroys you. But the main thing is you can actually sort of survive the odd hit. Let's just return to the hangar, and we'll just have a look at it in the X-ray view. So, as you can see here, I've decorated it up, of course. So the front of the armour, you've got 80mm, and it's an effective thickness of around about 120mm to 130mm. These side cheeks here offer 150mm with 60mm of armour. Lower plate's not great, but you can keep that hidden most of the time. The turret has 44mm of armour, well 30mm of armour with about 40mm of effective fitness at the front. And then of course you've got the main part of the turret, which is, so where are we? So you've got the second set of the turret, which is 30mm, so you've got an effective thickness of 60mm on the turret, and of course it is angled in there as well, and it is quite spaced as well. You can sort of see there is quite a bit of gap through there, which gives you that bit of spaced armour. So when you do get penetrated, shots lose a lot of their performance. The tank it's not too bad going forwards, but reverse is terrible. It's not the fastest tank in the world. The crew are relatively well spaced out, and because you have got that machine gunner, if you do get hit in the turret and you lose your whole crew, you are going to be able to survive for a little bit of time. You're not going to instantly die. It's got the belt loading system underneath the gun here, as you can see, and it is an autoloader. It's a 7-shot autoloader. It's a relatively good rate of fire, and it has the 100mm gun. The 100mm shell has very good penetration chances, and being a 100mm shell, it does cause quite a lot of damage once inside. The high explosive round is not worth taking out. It's not worth taking HE with these tanks because you have to reload the whole system every time you switch between them. So generally I just take a full loadout of AP shells. The other good thing is the ammo, as I said, it is a wet stowage, so it doesn't tend to ignite very much. All the ammo is in this side section here. The cheeks are quite well protected, as I said. I've not really been ammo racked in this tank much, but the side shots, they can be dangerous, of course, because you have got quite a bit of ammo at this higher point. But generally people tend to shoot low on the tank, expecting the ammo to be much lower, so you do tend to survive at the odd hit as well. The other good thing is if you do get a solid shot being shot at this part of the tank, it will just go straight through. Sometimes it doesn't even cause you any damage, it just harmlessly goes through the tank, because there's not really much underneath there, and because of the ball turret, because of the oscillating turret design, there is actually a little bit of armour underneath the crew to protect them from a shot coming in this side, because the turret does go down a little bit, so you do get some fragmentation hitting those parts. So all in all, the AMX is worth it. The AMX 50, it is 6.7, whereas its predecessor, the AMX M4, is only a 6.0. But the 100mm does really help you out quite a lot, and that extra armor does definitely make a difference. I'd be interested to see how the AMX 50 Sobisei goes with the 120mm gun. That one is classed as a heavy, of course, even though the French did classify the AMX 50 as a heavy as well. In game we really do classify it as a medium tank, so we'll see how that goes when we get there. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, comment and subscribe if you feel like it, and let me know below what you think of this tank. Have you faced it, and if you've played with it? And I will catch you next time. Bye guys.